The previous video showed some of the powerful search capabilities Logos provides. This one will build on that and focus on morphological searching, finding occurrences of particular forms of words. To explore this capability, we're going to look at the word receive in verse 39. Right-click the word and note the morphological information on the right of the context menu. Click the morphological description of the word to change the search options on the left, including the ability to search in this Bible for occurrences of the word in exactly the same form. Note that the same option is available if you select lemma on the right. The search shows that this word, in exactly this form, appears 4 times in the New Testament. But you may want to relax the criteria a little to show where else this word occurs, even if in a different form. Click to the right of the search string, and you may need to click a couple of times depending on exactly where the focus is, to get access to the Morph Selector panel. Then, remove the infinitive constraint by clicking it and run the search again by pressing the arrow on the right. There are 47 occurrences of this. Or to specify multiple forms, such as either infinitive or participle, go back into the Morph Selector panel, click on both options, and run the search again. This constrains the results to 15, including the one in the verse under study. To build a morph search from scratch, open a search window by clicking the search icon and ensure the morph option is selected. Then enter a search term, and if you don't have a Greek keyboard, you can use transliterated Greek to do this by prefixing the term with a G:. So if you want to look for the word translated cried in verse 37, you can enter G:"KRA" and select the correct lemma from the drop-down menu. And if you don't know the transliteration, open the Interlinear Ribbon, click the word, and the transliteration of the lemma, along with other useful items of information, will be displayed. You can then add a morph term by entering the @ symbol to bring up the first part of the Morph Selector panel. Select verb to bring up the rest of the panel as before. Specify aorist tense and that it applies in the third person singular and run the search. It finds your word in verse 37 and also the other 10 places where this exact form appears. Why not pause the video and try constructing other morph search terms, either in Greek or Hebrew, which operates in a similar way. Another way to perform morphological searching is to use the Morph Query document. To create a morph query, open the Docs menu, click New, and select Morph Query. You can choose the resources to search by clicking on All Morph Resources. As you can see, there are just a few resources tagged to support this. One for the Greek New Testament, one for the Hebrew Bible, and a couple for the Septuagint. Since you are focusing on John 7, select the Greek New Testament. Note that this changes the options in the main panel below, as the Hebrew ones are no longer relevant, so not included. There is the option to specify which passages in a resource to include in the search, defaulting to All Passages. Click it if you wish to restrict this range. You could limit it to your passage, but as we're going to look at where constructs in John 7 appear elsewhere, leave it as it is. Verse 37 speaks about Jesus standing up and crying out. As we're going to use the Morph Query document to see where this concept occurs elsewhere, call the document Standing and Crying. As noted earlier, the Interlinear Ribbon provides important information about words. Click Stood in verse 37 to see the Greek lemma and its transliteration, which you can use to populate the Morph Query document. To do this, type G: into the lemma cell in the first column, and then type the first 4 letters of the lemma, HIST. Then select the lemma from the drop-down menu to populate the cell. Then add the lemma for cried into the second column. Running the search will find any occurrences of these 2 words together, so long as they are not separated by more than 10 words, and if they appear in that specific order. Click on 10 words to see options to change the span of the search and whether you are interested in words or verses, but leave it at 10 words by clicking it again. Now, run the search by clicking the Search button, which opens a search window and executes the query, finding the 4 occurrences of this combination. If you are not concerned about whether the words appear in the same order, You can remove the in order constraint by clicking the small X to the right of it and running the search again, which finds 5 more results. And to see how these verses are translated in an English version, add one by clicking the plus Add Versions button, entering the Bible of your choice, such as ESV, selecting it from the list, and clicking the right arrow. You may need to click it a couple of times. Go back to the ESV, hover your cursor over the morph cell associated with stood in the interlinear ribbon to see that the term here is active, is in the third person, and singular. To only match occurrences where the same applies, add these constraints to the query. Click Voice and select Active. Click Person and select Third Person. Click Number and select Singular. If you run the search again, you will see that the verse under study is the only one where these constraints are satisfied. As you can see, this provides a very powerful point-and-click interface to building quite complex and sophisticated queries. Why not pause the video again and explore the different options here before moving on? This video has shown some of the capability of Logos in finding all occurrences of particular forms of words, which is often a very important part of the overall study process. The next video in this series will look at how we can configure multiple resources to appear side by side as a way of reviewing different texts at the same time.